What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Cookie DAO today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Yes, there's a crypto called Cookie, and it is looking scrumptious. We're at about a $61.5 million market cap. This thing has some decent volume, 22% of its market cap value in volume happening on a 24-hour basis. This is a regular thing, man. It just keeps happening. What's Emma have to say here? Cookie is showing resistance at 14 cents and support at 11, whatever. Yeah, go long if it break resistance. If it breaks, Emma, if it breaks, with the target of $1 at 14 and target. Okay. And target to okay, yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna go long on this thing. I'm not gonna leverage trade any of it at all because it's at such a low market cap. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but at a $61.5 million market cap, I think that it's completely possible to see a 100x and beyond. With those kind of gains, why would I mess with it with leverage trading, right? You leverage trade, you can lose your cookie. You don't want to lose your cookie. You want to hold on to that cookie. You want the whole cookie to yourself. You don't want to share that cookie with the exchanges. Don't share it. Don't leverage trade. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. But with these kind of gains, why would you leverage trade? Like what's the purpose? Greed. Greed is the point. It's the aspect behind it that drives it. But here we are. Whenever I do, whenever I talk about this thing doing a 100x, oh my goodness, hold on. That would give it a $6.1 billion market cap. 6.1 billion with a B. If we look at the top 100 right now and we look at the market cap valuations, 6.1 billion, there's already about 23 coins that are at that levels, and we're at some of the most stagnant, boring, depressing times in the bull market, right? Our crypto fear and greed index is well within the levels of fear, and we've got our top 20 coins, top 23 coins are at about what 100x would be for Cookie DAO. By the end of the cycle, you guys, the top 100 coins will probably have a 6 point whatever billion, maybe even beyond that, right? Reaching a market cap, reaching for something to gain significance and relevance and at least attain a top 100 spot. It's not a hard goal to have, especially if we're just talking about a moment. It doesn't have to be forever. It doesn't have to be the whole cycle. It can be. I'm sorry, guys. I got choked out there. I ate some peanuts. I like peanuts, and well, they choke you out sometimes. I should learn to not eat them before I make videos. But damn, I was hungry. Damn it. Anyways, and they're good for you. Maybe not a lot all at once, but they are good for you if they're clean sourced and all that stuff. But all I'm trying to say is 100x is not asking the world. I would even say a 200x is not asking the world, or a 300 or a 400x. Now we're starting to ask for the world. Now it's some higher stuff. The coins that do see these multi-hundred x capabilities in any bull cycle are the ones that start off at these market caps that have decent volume. That when you look at the chart, they're finding key support at key resistance. They've been listed on exchanges like Binance and Coinbase. Now, just because you're not listed doesn't mean that you can't see these tremendous amounts of growth capability. But oftentimes that exposure allows more people from all over the world to buy, right, and get in. And whenever it has that exposure, people don't just buy on that notion alone. The notion that they buy on is price go up. So if price goes up, then they will buy, right? Is this a bull flag? Is it not? I don't know. It kind of looks like one. It's kind of ugly if it is a bull flag, but let's assume it is. If it were to be a bull flag from a low to a high, your next move, assuming that this is the low, and I don't assume it to be the low, I actually think we go lower, but that puts you up above $5. Let's say you go lower. Let's say you go to the area that I'm thinking we go to, which is somewhere around like 8 cents, maybe 8.5 cents. That still puts you above $3.62. Even at this price of 13.7 cents, we're talking about something that's greater than a 20x, right? If it were to perform as it did last time, phenomenal growth. Even if it doesn't perform as it did last time, still phenomenal growth. We look at this from an all-time high to an all-time low. At the time, it was the all-time high to the all-time low there. And I think maybe, is it this low? We're going to take this low because that's like the low of the move, not the fake out low over here. You went just below the 1618, and now you're at the 786. Very common retracement to make. You could go all the way down to the golden ratio, and again, that's at about 8.6 cents actually right there. So Very possible. 13.7 cents now before we go up. Yes, yes. You could go below 11 cents. You could go somewhere right above 8 cents. It's very possible to happen. Whenever it does come time for you to move higher, the expectation would be that you go above the golden ratio. Okay. Once you get above the golden ratio, you have access. You're privy to the 1886 to the 2618 area. Now, I don't believe Cookie Dow's on a moon mission to $10, but it could be. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It could be. Why would I leverage trade? Why would I leverage trade anything that has the potential to see a 70x in a very short amount of time? Now, I'm not saying Cookie Dow does. I don't think it sees a 70x by the end of this next move, which I anticipate to happen by the end of April, if not, or no, sorry, by the end of May, by the end of June. I forget what month I'm in sometimes. By the end of May, if not by the end of June. I'm not saying that it has to be there, but I'm saying it has the possibility to. If I had to bet, if someone asked me, would you bet on that happening? I would not bet on that happening. Would I bet on $4.40 happening by the end of May, by the end of June? I probably wouldn't bet on that happening either. I would not bet against it, though. I definitely would not. This I'd probably bet against because I doubt it happens. But we could, if we hit 441. So the thing about the 2272 with this area specifically is it's more of an area, not a line. With the 2272, oftentimes you do go just above it. So that $5.21 target, that $5 area comes back in mind, right? An exact copy of this move from the low of the lower at about 8 to 10 cents, somewhere in that area, right? It'd be right there. It's very possible. It's very possible from 13 cents that we could rip all the way up to $5. Now, again, I'm not expecting that, but I wouldn't bet against it. I would not bet against it. From the current price, what I would bet on is that we are at least at $1.76 to something that's above $2. And that provides around a 13x to about a 16, almost a 17x right there. And that's just from the current price. What if we go lower? What if we do go down to, let's say we only go down to about 10 cents. Let's say we don't break 10 cents, we just go right there. That turns that, 13x to 17x into a minimum 17x to a maximum of something over a 20x, right? So if you time this right, I really think you can walk away with some killer gains. You don't even have to time it right. You can just get in here and walk away with some killer gains. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I think this thing's got a lot of potential in the short term. I did buy some up here at this area. I bought a lot at that area. I went heavy. And if we go down to 10.8 cents, I'm going to lay it down, man. I'm 10 cents, 8 cents. Sorry, not 10.8 cents, 10 to 8 cents. We go somewhere in that area. I'm going to lay the hammer down, man. We're going hard. I'm going to double down on all the things that I bought cookie wise. And that's because I think we're going to see some immaculate growth from there. That'll bring my dollar cost average down. It'll bring up the overall gains that we would have at this target area that we have. And if by chance we happen to get that that crazy pump above $5 or even something insane all the way up to $10, it would just it's I don't even have to talk anymore. Please don't make me talk. I'm dying here. From a low to a high, we are at the 0.5. It's very rare that you find support at the 0.5. I often say that the 0.5 is insignificant. It's actually not a fib. It's just an area a lot of Fibonacci analysts use because it's the halfway point in your range, and that's something that's good to consider. There are such things as like quadrants. You don't even have to use the fibs. I actually have one set up here. Let's see. Not a fib. Is that this one? Not a fib. Yeah. I put it in quadrants, so like 25%, 50%, 75%, 100. Gave it red, yellow, and green, Rasta color, whatever. Sometimes quadrants are respected, but using the fib here, not using the quadrants, it's very rare that you find significance on the 0.5. But if you do find significance, you get significant results. So, this move up right now is not really that significant. A 7% move on a $61 million asset is not that significant at all. If by the end of this week, if we're up higher, yeah, that could look like this is the low. It really could look like it's the low. But until then, I'm not convinced. I'm still thinking we go down to the golden ratio, breaking below the 382, holding here and not getting a significant bounce likely does imply we go to the golden ratio. And even a significant bounce doesn't absolve you. But I do expect the average altcoin to drop 20 to 30% from their current prices, 20 to 30%. For Cookie Dow to drop down there, that's about a 40% drop. And it wouldn't be crazy for it to drop 40%. It really could. And the reason being is that it's not your average altcoin. It's at a lot lower of a market cap. These kind of coins are affected more so in dump times and more so in pump times as well. Does it have to go here? No. To me, that's the area that would make the most sense. But if you're counting on that, and it finds support at 10 cents, You know, that's an average drop for the average coin, about a 25% drop. It's totally fine to find support there. If it drops a little bit and it only goes down to 11 cents, that's fine. It doesn't have to go lower than that. If we've already found the low, we start ripping, that's also a possibility, but I doubt it, right? You got listed on Coinbase recently, you got listed on Binance recently, BitThumb, a couple of different exchanges recently, all in this area, and crypto's about to dump. At least I think it is. I think it's a perfect storm to see some lower price action. So I will say it'd be nice if we found support here. Finding support off the 0.5, again, it's not something you often do, but you get significant results. Oftentimes it does lead up to the 236 at least, which would be all the way at 34 cents. And then beyond that, bouncing off of your prior resistance shelf here would be a very good look too. And you'd be breaking out of this downward sloping trend with the move up to that area. So there's a lot of good things that could come from this, but it's too new to say. It's too early to say. We're at a 5-day, 8-hour time frame left in this week. So let's just see how this week develops. Looking at the weekly RSI on that note, we do have lower lows here. We're below the 50. I would think we complete the thought. We probably come down to the 40 area, or I say area. It doesn't have to be this line exactly, but something in that area I would expect. And then we probably recover and continue to grow. Daily time frame here. Looking at it, daily RSI does look a little bit weak, but what I will say that you have going for you is you've bounced off the 40 a bunch of times here. You should have gone lower and you just haven't done that, so it's a little bit encouraging. But again, the week is young. Things haven't really started to move down for crypto yet. It wouldn't surprise me if we went lower, but if we were to move higher, if we were to invalidate my notion, I'm gonna have to disagree with Emma here. I don't think it's 14 cents or 14.4 cents that would do that. Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on, let me see here. Yeah, I don't think it's 14.4 cents that would invalidate that. I think really to invalidate the notion that you're going lower, at least 15.3 cents. But we have different. Who cares? Emma probably, she does her own analysis for her own way. Whatever. You know, I don't know why you would stop here and not move that line up to this closing period, which is at the high, or the wicking periods here. Oh, she did actually. That's where it is here. That's just the line. See, I'm misunderstanding it entirely, but that makes a little bit of sense on that there. Just doing some friendly critiquing. It's nothing personal, okay? If you're watching this, Emma, shout out to Emma. I'm not trying to be a hater, okay? I promise. I'm just having a little bit of fun here. 13.7 cents. My opinion would be the more significant area to break above to validate this as a low. And I don't think that's even what she's talking about. She's not even talking about it being a valid low, just a short-term move up, right? A short-term little trade there. To validate this as a low would be at 21.4 cents to 23 cents, somewhere in that area. If we get above, I would say really getting above 23 cents is what it'll take to validate this as a low. You get above there on a daily closing basis, that's where this closing high is, 23 cents. If we can get above there, that'll help validate this as a low. And even if we do go lower, if the rest of the crypto market drops and we're all the way up here, you know, a 25% drop, a 40% drop from there, it wouldn't amount to a lower low. So something like that could happen. It's very possible that we could move up, but if we were to do that, we'd have to do that over the coming days. And I just don't know if we see that, right? The daily RSI gives me a little hope. The 4-hour RSI also gives me a little hope. I'm not going to lie. It doesn't look bad. And we're moving up with minimal amounts of volume, about average volume, moving down with above average volume, but still holding support at prior areas of resistance. It's not a bad look, man. It's really not a bad look. 1-hour RSI also looks pretty good. I don't know. What are you doing here from a low to a high? 0.5. I mean, this to me tells me you want to go higher. So how much higher do you go is the question, right? I do believe, and I don't think we have to wait for 14.5 cents to confirm this. I'll call it right now. I think that we are moving up higher. That's the expectation. Don't go long. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but definitely don't go long, man. That's a bad idea on this thing, because if you go long, sure, it might be fun for a second. Will you take profits? I hope. But if it dumps, it's going to not be fun at all. It'll dump right in your face, man. But if we are to go up higher, where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? Do I want to take that high? I might want to take the high. I'm going to take this relative pivot right here, okay? We're going to take this high to this low here. That's what we're going to do. I think 15.16 cents is a good area. 16 cents is a good area. Anything above that is encouraging. 23 cents validates the low. I'm going to leave it at that, okay? When it comes time for Cookie DAO to really show its colors, to really fly, let that goose loose and fly, we're going to see something that's on the lines of a 100x, probably a multi-100x, and something that's just going to be overall phenomenal, right? If we were to see a 1000x, which I'm not saying we do, but if we do see a 1000x, that would give us a market cap of a $62 billion market cap. And there are plenty of coins that have seen those kind of market caps in their first cycle. Shiba Inu saw an $80 billion market cap in its first cycle, and it was a meme coin. It was a wannabe Dogecoin. It was a Dogecoin killer. and it's on $80 billion market cap in its first cycle. Could this thing see a 1000x? I think it could. I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't bet on that. In fact, I would probably bet against that, but I definitely would not count it out as a possibility. 61 billion is a very 62 billion, whatever it would be. It's a very attainable market cap. What about the fully diluted valuation? Yeah, did you know a lot of that actually gets unlocked at the end of this year, at the end of the cycle, not anytime soon. So look into it, do your own research, right? Definitely do your own research if you want to buy this. Don't just hear it has 1000x potential and it's a good time to buy. Don't do that. Just do your own research, see if you like it. Anybody out there saying that Cookie DAO has low volume, you just don't know what you're talking about. I've had a couple people say there's no interest in this thing. It's got low volume. Where did all the volume go? There's not any work being done on this, but that's just not true. You're not paying attention if you think that's true. Token unlocks. Let's see if it tells us right here. Hold on. Right, unlock process. A lot are still locked. Right, still more than half are locked. Allocation. The biggest allocation here is the seed sale. Oh hey, wow, look at that. Maybe that's not the seed. Is that the that'd be the liquidity listings and staking? Maybe 18%. Yeah, that is. Okay, cool. That's good. Right? Ecosystem incentives, good. That's the next kind of biggest one. Anyways, unlock schedule. You can see that there are token unlocks that happen really throughout like every single month. Whoa, man, why can't I get this right? Let's see here, and then it gets unlocked again. We get more unlocks here on March 24th, April 24th, and then May 24th. Every single 24th of the month, you're getting more unlocks at a steady rate, right? At a steady rate for everything. The unlocks that are happening the fastest look to be the liquidity. Wait, not liquidity. Am I doing this wrong? Let me see. Is there something else that I'm missing? Seed is not getting unlocked. How come the red's getting unlocked? It's going higher here, but I'm not seeing the liquidity or the seed go higher. Maybe I'm not looking at the right one. I don't care, man. Whatever. But at the end of the day, yes, there are token unlocks that will continue to happen throughout the rest of this year, month by month, and then I think that pace really starts to decline. It looks like maybe it starts to incline toward the end of this year. That's whenever things pick up a little bit more, but it's still going to be at a pretty solid pace. So yes, there will be token unlocks every single month, but on a monthly basis, unlocking. I don't know. Let's look this up real quick. Actually, hold on. What percentage of what? Let's see. What is the amount of token unlocks monthly? Monthly token unlocks. Let's use proper English here. Monthly token unlocks for Cookie DAO in reference to it. Is that it's two F's, right? Reference. No, it's a E, not an A. Reference to its total market cap. Please answer in a percentage form. In form of a percentage, whatever. Oh, he'll get me. Yes, you're going to do a little approximating and all that stuff. Yes, come on. Monthly token unlocks, yes. We want the monthly, man. Monthly. Likely range between 2.6% to 1.12% as of March 2025. The lower end 2.6 aligns with the specific March 6 unlock, while the higher 1.2 assumes a more aggressive vesting pace, which I don't think it's going to be that. I think it would be something that's less than 1%. So it's a very, very insignificant amount. Still significant, right? 1% every month. I mean, that's higher than the rate of inflation versus the dollar. But whenever you're at such a low market cap, you have a lot of room to grow. I don't think it's going to hurt the price too much. You're not getting any kind of flash unlocks that are going to happen on a single day or a single month, right? That's the majority of it has already been or maybe not the majority of it, but the biggest kind of unlock in the shortest amount of time has happened already. It's going to be a very long-lived process, and I would expect that through the bear market, these unlocks will persist and help the price drop lower, give us some good prices to get in on the next cycle. And I don't believe that it's done here. I think that has a lot of growth to go, but you should be aware of the tokenomics, be aware of the token dynamics, do more research than what I've done here before you decide what the appropriate the appropriate action to take here is I think that it's a great time to buy. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I have to hold myself back from buying more every day because the reality is we really could be at the low, but I don't anticipate that. I think, and the reason why I am holding off is I think that we will see 10 to 8.5 cents somewhere in there, and that's where I'll be buying more. Until then, I'm happy with my bag. It can just run to the moon if it has to. I'm okay with that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye.